Hey everyone, welcome to this deep dive. Today we're going to explore a really fascinating topic.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
It is the rise of the intelligent, sustainable strategic accountant.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Right. We'll just call it iSSA for short.
Makes sense.
But trust me, even if you're not an accountant, this is something you should care about.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to talk about how accounting is changing and why that matters for like the future of business.
It really is the future.
Totally. So, you might be thinking, accountants, those are the number crunching folks, right?
Right, stuck in their cubicles with calculators.
Exactly. But that image is so outdated.
It really is.
What's really interesting here is this shift from accountants being seen as just number crunchers to becoming these like strategic advisors.
Shaping the future instead of just recording the past.
Okay, so less balancing checkbooks and more like steering the ship.
Exactly.
That's a pretty big change. What's driving this evolution?
Well, it's a few things all happening at once.
Yeah.
Technology is a big one.
Oh, for sure.
Just think back to the days before spreadsheets.
Like the dark ages.
Right. Giant paper ledgers.
Yeah.
Endless manual calculations.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Then came programs like Lotus 123.
Yeah.
It was revolutionary at the time.
It was like comparing a horse and buggy to a Tesla.
Perfect analogy.
I can't imagine doing my taxes without a spreadsheet.
Right. Let alone running a global business.
And speaking of global, that's another factor.
Absolutely. Globalization has made everything more complex.
Oh.
Businesses operate across borders.
Yeah.
You've got regulations like Sarbanes-Oxley adding another layer.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Accountants suddenly need this global perspective.
Makes sense.
Navigating international financial reporting standards, currency fluctuations, compliance issues.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So they need to be tech savvy and globally minded.
You got it.
That's a tall order.
It is.
And then there's one more piece we haven't mentioned yet. Sustainability.
Oh, yeah, this is where things get really interesting.
Right.
Sustainability isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's a fundamental shift.
Totally.
Investors and consumers are evaluating companies differently.
How so?
They're looking at the environmental and social impact.
Okay.
Things like carbon emissions, ethical sourcing, diversity, inclusion.
Got it.
These are known as ESG factors, environmental, social, and governance.
ESG. Okay, I'm following you. So it's not just about profits anymore.
Nope. It's about purpose, too.
Interesting. And accountants are at the heart of this.
Right at the heart.
Right.
Measuring, reporting, analyzing this ESG information. This is where the S in iSSA comes in.
The S for sustainability.
It's a game changer.
Wow. Okay, so we've got technology, globalization, and sustainability all converging to like reshape the accounting profession.
Right.
Enter the iSSA, the Intelligent, Sustainable, and Strategic Accountant.
I like it.
But what does that actually look like in practice? Are we talking about accountants leading board meetings, advising CEOs?
It might sound crazy.
Yeah.
But that's exactly where things are heading. Let's break down those three pillars. Intelligent sustainability and strategic thinking.
Got it.
The intelligence piece is all about leveraging technology.
Okay.
Think AI and advanced data analytics, not just number crunching.
Okay, so next level stuff.
iSSAs are using these tools to analyze trends, predict outcomes, and advise on critical business decisions.
So like being able to spot patterns and risks before they even show up on a balance sheet?
Precisely. Like having a financial early warning system.
Wow, that's incredible.
And this intelligence goes beyond just financial data. Remember those ESG factors we talked about? iSSAs are analyzing that data too.
So they're not just looking at the money coming in.
Nope. They're helping companies understand their environmental and social impact.
So they're measuring profits and the impact.
Yeah, exactly. It's like expanding the definition of success.
I like that. And what about strategic thinking?
It's about connecting all the dots.
Okay.
Understanding how financial, environmental, and social factors all intersect.
They see the whole picture.
Right? It's about helping companies make decisions that are profitable, A&D responsible.
So they're like the bridge between the data and the big picture vision.
That's a great way to put it.
This is all very impressive, but how does this digital transformation play out in the real world? What kind of technology are we talking about?
Well, think about it. This is an era where robots are automating tasks.
Right.
So human accountants can focus on more strategic work.
Instead of like manually entering data all day.
Exactly. Imagine using tools like RPA, robotic process automation, to do that for you.
So that frees up time for
analyzing that data, using advanced visualization tools like Power BI and Tableau.
Okay, I've heard of those.
They turn raw data into compelling visual stories,
Cool.
helping you spot trends and communicate insights.
So accountants are becoming data savvy Tech wizards.
You could say that.
It's like trading in their green visors for VR headsets.
Uh-huh.
Maybe one day. But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We've talked about the intelligent and the strategic. Yeah. What about the sustainable? How is that changing the day-to-day life of an accountant?
It's a huge shift.
Yeah.
Think about it. Just a few years ago, accountants were primarily concerned with financial reporting.
Yeah.
Now they're being asked to measure and report on things like carbon emissions,
Okay.
diversity initiatives, ethical sourcing practices, and more.
Wow. That's a lot to add to their plate.
It is. It's a whole new set of metrics.
And a whole new way of thinking about a company's performance.
Exactly.
How are they managing all of this? Are there specific tools or frameworks for measuring and reporting on sustainability?
There are. And this is where things can get a little technical.
Oh.
There are several established frameworks for ESG reporting.
Like what?
The Global Reporting Initiative, GRI, and the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, SB.
Okay, those are new acronyms for me.
They provide guidance on what metrics to track and how to report them.
So they create like a common language for companies to communicate their sustainability performance?
Exactly. And iSSAs are becoming fluent in that language.
That's pretty cool. So they're not just crunching numbers, they're translating those numbers into a story.
A story about a company's impact on the world.
They're becoming storytellers as well as data analysts.
It's a powerful combination.
It is. So how is this changing the dynamic between accountants and the businesses they work with?
It's fundamentally changing the relationship. Traditionally, accountants were seen as scorekeepers.
Yeah.
You know, the folks who track the numbers and report it on the past.
Right.
But iSSAs are becoming more like coaches or even navigators.
Interesting.
Helping companies chart a course towards a sustainable and successful future.
So they're moving from the back office to the boardroom.
You got it. It's a testament to the evolving role of the accountant.
They're not just number crunchers anymore.
Not at all. They're strategic advisors.
Helping companies not just survive, but thrive.
In a world where sustainability and social impact are so important.
It's an exciting time to be in accounting.
It really is.
It sounds like it. But I'm guessing this transformation doesn't come without its challenges.
You're absolutely right. There are some significant hurdles.
Okay, so let's talk about those hurdles. What are some of the biggest challenges that companies face when trying to implement the iSSA approach?
Well, one of the biggest is investment.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
New technologies, training programs, maybe even restructuring teams to accommodate these new roles.
Right.
It all adds up.
Especially when the return on that investment isn't always immediately obvious.
Right. It's like asking someone to invest in a retirement plan.
Yeah.
When they're young and retirement seems like a lifetime away.
That's a great analogy. So how do you convince a company to make that leap of faith?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's about demonstrating the value.
Okay.
But also making that transition manageable.
I see.
You don't have to overhaul everything overnight.
Right.
You can start with a pilot project.
Okay.
Maybe in a specific department.
Makes sense.
Show how a new data analytics tool can streamline processes, reveal insights.
Even lead to cost savings. So start small, prove the concept, then build from there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you have a success story, it's much easier to make the case for more investment.
Makes sense. But it's not just about the money, right?
Right. There's the human element, too.
Yeah, we talked about potential pushback from more traditional accountants.
The ones who might resist change.
How do you bring them on board?
It's all about communication.
Okay.
And demonstrating the value
of this new approach.
Right. It's not about replacing humans with robots.
Okay.
It's about giving them superpowers.
I like that. So instead of fearing technology, they should embrace it.
Exactly. It's a mindset shift.
From I'm being replaced to I'm being upgraded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not enough for just individual accountants.
Right.
Leadership needs to champion this.
From the top down.
From the top down.
So it's about setting the tone.
Yeah.
Making it clear that this is a priority.
The company is committed.
But even if you have the budget and the buy-in, there's still the challenge of finding people with the right skills.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned the skills gap earlier. How big of a problem is this?
It's a real challenge.
Where do you find these iSSA unicorns?
Right. The accountants who can do it all.
Yeah.
Honestly, finding people with that perfect blend of skills.
Technical, sustainability, strategic.
It can be tough.
Yeah.
But the good news is you don't always need to find them ready-made.
Okay.
You can develop them from within.
So invest in your existing team.
Exactly.
Provide training and development opportunities.
Identify those who are eager to learn.
Okay.
Who are naturally curious. Who are passionate about this shift towards sustainability.
Got it.
And invest in their development.
Training programs, conferences, mentorship.
It's amazing what you can achieve.
When you empower your people.
Exactly. It's about cultivating that growth mindset.
Within individuals.
And within the company culture.
But not every company has the resources of a Google or a Microsoft.
Right.
What about smaller businesses?
Yeah.
With limited budgets, how can they embrace this without breaking the bank?
That's a great question. The good news is technology can be a great equalizer.
Okay.
Cloud-based platforms, online learning resources, have made sophisticated tools and training more accessible.
And more affordable.
Than ever before.
So it's about being resourceful.
Yeah.
Leveraging those readily available tools.
Finding creative solutions.
That fit within your budget.
Exactly.
Okay. But let's shift gears for a moment.
Sure.
Let's dive deeper into the sustainability aspect.
Okay.
How is this growing focus on ESG factors impacting the day-to-day work of an accountant?
It's a fundamental shift.
In what way?
Just a few years ago, accountants were primarily concerned with financial data.
Right.
Now they're being asked to measure and report on things like carbon emissions, resource consumption, diversity and inclusion, practices community engagement.
So much more than just the numbers.
It's a whole new set of data points.
And a whole new way of thinking.
About a company's performance.
So they're not just looking at profits anymore.
Nope. They're looking at a company's impact.
On the world.
On the world.
It's about moving beyond the traditional bottom line.
Right.
And embracing the triple bottom line.
People, planet, and profit.
But let's get real for a second.
Okay.
How do you actually measure something like social impact?
You're right. It's not always easy.
It's not as straightforward as counting dollars and cents.
There are a lot of different frameworks and methodologies.
I've got.
It's still an evolving field.
Yeah.
There are challenges in defining metrics, ensuring consistency in reporting.
So where do you even start?
The key is to start somewhere.
Okay.
Identify the metrics that are most relevant to your business.
And your stakeholders.
Right. And be transparent about how you're measuring and reporting.
So it's about telling an honest story.
About your company's impact.
And demonstrating your commitment to improvement.
Exactly.
It's about showing, not just telling, right.
Actions speak louder than words.
For sure.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the tension between short-term financial goals and long-term sustainability initiatives.
It's a classic dilemma.
How do you convince a company to invest in something that might not pay off for years?
Especially when they're under pressure to deliver immediate results.
Right.
That's a tension that iSSAs are increasingly tasked with navigating.
I bet.
It's a delicate balancing act.
It is.
But the key is to help companies understand that sustainability isn't just about doing good.
Okay.
It's about doing well.
Interesting.
It's about mitigating risk, attracting investors, enhancing brand reputation.
And ultimately creating long-term value.
Exactly.
It's about changing the narrative.
Shifting the focus.
From short-term profits to long-term sustainability.
Exactly.
But this isn't just about companies and investors, is it?
Right. It's about individuals, too.
What advice do you have for someone thinking about a career as an iSSAs?
If you're passionate about using your skills to make a positive impact, this is a fantastic field.
It does sound pretty great.
But it's not for the faint of heart.
What do you mean?
You need to be comfortable with technology.
Okay.
You need to be a lifelong learner.
Always learning new things?
And you need to be able to think strategically.
So you need to be comfortable with change.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a field that's constantly evolving.
The ability to adapt and learn quickly is crucial.
So if you're up for the challenge, the rewards can be immense.
You're not just crunching numbers.
Right.
You're shaping the future of business.
And helping to create a more sustainable and equitable world.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges, the opportunities, the skills. But before we wrap up, I'm curious, what are some of the potential pitfalls of the iSSA model?
Good question.
What could go wrong if we're not careful?
Well, that's a really important point. You know, we've talked a lot about the potential.
The positive side of the iSSA model.
Yeah. But no system is perfect.
That's true. So with any new approach,
especially one involving technology and data,
there are risks.
Absolutely. Risks we need to be aware of.
So let's talk about those. What are some of the potential pitfalls?
Well, one pitfall is over-reliance on technology.
I can see that happening.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new tools.
Yeah, the shiny new toys.
And forget that technology is just that, a tool.
It's not a magic solution.
It's not a magic bullet. You still need human judgment.
Experience ethical considerations.
All of that.
So it's like relying solely on GPS navigation.
Even when your gut tells you you're going the wrong way,
You need to use your own brain.
Exactly. Technology can give us incredible insights.
Yeah.
It can automate tasks.
Right.
But human judgment is still paramount.
So it's not about blindly following the algorithms.
Right. It's about using technology to enhance our decision-making.
Not replace it.
Exactly.
Right.
And that brings us to another potential pitfall.
Okay, what's that?
Losing sight of the human element.
Oh, yeah.
As we automate more tasks.
It's easy to forget.
That accounting is ultimately about people.
Businesses making decisions that impact people.
Their employees, their customers, their communities.
The world.
The world at large.
It's like getting so caught up in the numbers.
You forget about the people behind those numbers.
The real world consequence.
Positive and negative.
No, those decisions.
Right. And this is where the S in iSSA is so important.
Sustainability.
Sustainability. It's a reminder that financial performance.
It's just one part of the equation.
Exactly. We also need to consider the social and environmental impact.
It's about remembering that profit isn't the only measure of success.
Finding that balance.
Between financial sustainability, social responsibility, environmental stewardship.
It's not always easy.
It sounds like a lot to juggle.
It does require careful consideration, ethical decision-making.
And a willingness to challenge conventional thinking. So despite the challenges and potential pitfalls, it sounds like the iSSA model offers a path.
Towards a more responsible way of doing business.
A more sustainable way.
Absolutely.
But let's dream big for a minute.
Okay, I like it.
What does the future of accounting look like?
If we get this right.
What's the best case scenario?
I envision a world where accountants are seen as trusted advisors.
Not just number crunchers.
They're at the forefront.
Shaping business strategy.
Driving sustainable practices.
Creating long-term value.
For all stakeholders.
It's a world where accountants are leaders.
Innovators, agents of positive change.
That's a pretty inspiring vision.
It is.
But it's not going to happen overnight.
It's going to take time.
What needs to happen to make this vision a reality?
It's going to require collective effort.
From everyone.
Individuals, businesses, educational institutions, governments.
So it's not just about accountants changing.
It's about the entire ecosystem adapting.
To this new way of thinking.
Exactly. Businesses need to invest.
In training and technology.
Educational institutions need to adapt their curriculum.
Governments can create incentive
for sustainable practices.
And support the development of the iSSA profession.
It's a big task.
But it's worth it.
It is.
So for our listeners out there,
what's the one key takeaway from this deep dive?
The future of accounting is not predetermined.
It's being shaped right now.
We all have a role to play.
In shaping it for the better.
Absolutely.
It's a call to action, isn't it?
It is.
Whether you're an accountant, a business leader, an investor,
or just someone who cares,
we can all embrace the principles of the iSSA model.
Intelligent sustainability, strategic thinking.
To create a more responsible and successful future.
For everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
Till next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep learning.